the arena. The pair from Singapore, Triachart and Danny Krishnanta. Carsten Mogensen and Matthias Bo. Obviously, big favourites in this match and big favourites amongst the supporters here. Obviously, we saw them yesterday watching their opponents. Jim, as Krishnanta and Triachart made it through the first round in 3 games against the New Zealand pair that were facing. They seem pretty relaxed. They obviously have great belief in their own abilities.
Yeah, they felt good. They've been looking really good in training the last 2-3 weeks, especially Carsten. I think in the beginning of the training period, I thought I had a chance, but the last 14 days, he wasn't.
Let's just point out, you've been training with them.
Yeah.
And so you had a few matchups, did you?
I had a lot of matchups, and
so early on you were doing okay.
I thought it was, yeah, you know, well, I might have a shot at this, but at the end it was. I really felt he was in good shape, and I had to say that he's ready. And the same with Matthias, and he had an injury. I think he's over that one. Not for the build-up, but in the US he had a little bit of an injury in the thigh, and I think he's.
Because he had an injury, didn't he? Around the, he didn't play at the Thomas Cup.
Exactly. Yeah. So
that was the back injury, though, wasn't it?
Yeah. So he's injury-free. So I think pretty much everything has been running smoothly. They were Grand Prix the last week up to. That's good. And then yesterday you can see they felt relaxed, and so they're ready.
Yeah. Of course, World Championship finalists, Olympic finalists. Can they go one better here? Turned at the Indonesian Open, lost in the second round, made the final of the US Open. Our last couple of results up against a pair that have come a long way. We look at the umpire here from Indonesia, Teddy Ramate, and Biraj Gunidrik is our service judge. But Triachart and Krishnanta have risen up the world rankings. That's Krishnanta there we're looking at. They are up to 32 in the world now. They were outside the top 100, just come off the back of silver medal at the Commonwealth Games. Won their first men's doubles title in March, the Malaysian Open Grand Prix gold. Then they won again in June at the Sri Lankan International, albeit one of the lower level events. But a couple of wins for them. And for a pair that's been on and off as a pair for 4 years, and these two, they seem to be around forever.
Yeah,
as a partnership.
But they are up against a very tricky pair here. Carsten and Matthias they're really, really good in service situation. They're good at ruining the other guy's game, and here they're gonna struggle to get into a flow. I think that's what Carsten and Matthias is very good at, and well, we'll have to see. They need to be on top of their game to win this one. And of course, Carsten and Matthias, the home court advantage. They've been looking forward to that one.
Well, good crowd in here now, isn't there? Many of the seats have been taken up. Of course, it's going to be sold out as we get towards the weekend and the semi-finals and the finals. And of course, Mogensen and Bo, I hope they're very much a part of that.
Definitely. Yeah, for Danish badminton and for this tournament, it's quite important, I think. If you look at from the organizers' standpoint, then it's important that Carsten and Matthias does well. And here we have Jesper Larsen and Lars Ure. Jesper Larsen, the double coach in Denmark, and Lars Ure, the head coach. Jesper, former player himself, actually, me and him partnered up for a couple of months. So
when it was a couple of months, I take it didn't go too well then.
It went fantastic. There was nothing more to win. No, it didn't. go as well as we were hoping for. It didn't go bad, but just didn't work out.
Well, there were some nerves, weren't there, for Boa Mogensen here? You know, you've had to wait, sit back and watch everyone else competing.
Singapore. Trichaya Chayu to serve to Matthias Bo. Level play.
And that's exactly that. It's their favorite position. Carsten at the back, really hitting hard and steep and very precise. And then Matthias Bo comes in and covers the net perfectly there. And this is what the two Singaporeans needs to be better at. They need to kind of get that shuttle away from Matthias at the net, especially in defense. Make Carsten work on the back, and then when they have the chance, get it past Matthias. But that's easier said than done. And then stay really, really tough in the service situation.
Service over. 3-1.
Yeah, they seem really keen to impress here so far. Fair to say it's been a tough kind of period for the last 18 months in the build-up to these championships.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, they haven't had that result, and I know they've been struggling with that. They want that result that gives them confidence, and they've just missed out on it so many times. Then
they won in Korea, didn't they? Start of the year.
Start of the year, but from there on, it's been going not downhill, but they haven't won what you would expect the players of that standard.
And what they're used to doing as well.
Exactly.
They didn't win all of 2013 as well.
And the thing is, they went to US Open with the thoughts of, we can get a win here, and then they didn't win that one either. And of course, I know Matthias was injured, so it'd be interesting to see. They look very confident, and if we saw them yesterday, as you said, I think they got that thing. So.
Of course, the #1 pair in the world aren't here, are they, either?
No, which is a pair they really, really have been struggling with. So for them, that was really good. Now they're not in that half of the draw. They will have to go up against Lee Young-dae and Yo, which they also had problems with. So there's no easy task for Carsten and Matthias if they're to bring home the gold.
Just wide, but good call. One round there. We said yesterday it doesn't win you a point, didn't we? Try and chart did it there. One round the back and then off the net.
Oh, fantastic. But you see that before that he gets into that position, but he doesn't find that gap at the net where Matthias has. Matthias reads his game, so they have to be very careful where they play when Matthias is up there. That's better.
Yeah, it's surprising when they lost their first set yesterday against Kevin Dennerly Minton and Oliver Layden Davis. Turned it around, but you wouldn't expect them really to lose that first set.
Not, especially not when what we've seen here from the start, you know. But double is very different today with that service situation. If there's players, we can see that the Polish pair here, they're really close to beating, or at least they have a very tight third set. That's two players who are really good in the service situation, and if they get that to work, it's so difficult to get out of. Oh, it's amazing. Oh, good defense by Matthias.
Impressed, Ben, so far?
Yeah, pretty much goes as I'm expecting. Carsten and Matthias they're looking good in the service situation, and getting those points that they normally get when it's World Championship time, if you can say it like that. So, and it's not, you know, the rallies that's been the Singapore pair has been in it, but it's more or less the points that's not been played for. That's what Carsten and Matthias can do. They take them easily. So
couldn't quite dig that one out to get a bow there, but they've taken 10 of the 15 points so far. And at the interval, it's, you have to say, pretty comfortable. 11 points to 5. Bo and Mogensen have the lead. Just Nanta on the stretch, couldn't do anything with that one.
We had a match yesterday with Chen Long, and we said he was up against a tougher opponent today, and you can pretty much say he answered our question.
Yeah, I mean, that was an emphatic display from him, isn't it? 21-11, 21-10 over Mark Zwiebler. If there were any question marks, I don't think there are now. That was a really good performance from Chen Long.
That's right.
So the number 2 seed is fine and dandy in the men's singles.
that's what they're good at. So good in the return situation. That was a very, very good serve.
Having a few swings at it. Obviously caught one racket on the way. That's having 3 goes at it, isn't it?
Well, we saw Chien had 2 goes at a shuttle yesterday, so that worked. And you see, this is what I talk about. We had 3 quick rallies, boom, 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 14-7. And that's what they're so good at, Carsten and Matthias.
Because, you know, all the energy that Krishnanta and Trichard are using to get 1 point, and they're getting 3 points in this energy.
So they might have a long rally where they win 1 point, but that's 5 in a row, and that's pure class from the Danes. Look how Carsten hits it. He knows that it's going to be difficult to come away from Matthias at the net, especially with that left hand. So he's hitting for that all the time. And
well, it's efficient, isn't it, this performance by Mogensen?
Very. Now we have that again.
19,
again,
8.
I know I'm gonna. It feels like I'm saying all the time, but there you see it. A good variation of serve and easy point. Not an easy point, but it's a quick point. Again, probably here again. Another. And that's the thing, and we have a very good skilled badminton players from Singapore here, but they will never get into play. And simply because the Carsten and Matthias are too good in service situation, and the Singapore pair are not willing to try and work their way out of it. They're just playing the same game over and over again. And if they're to have a chance here, they need to think about what they're doing. Here they just play their game and hit hard and everything, and this will happen.
Well, that was a super display from Mogensen and Bo. That 21 points to 8 there. Took that game bite.
The umpire, Gavin Smith from England, and the service judge, Vladimir Klitschner from Poland. Isabel Hertrich and Carla Dente. And they are facing from Indonesia, Nitya Ishanta Ashnavani.
Well, it was only 15 minutes on court for that first game, 21-8. Given the fact that Trajana Krishnantov had a good year, climbed up the world rankings, won a couple of times, got themselves a silver medal just a couple of weeks ago in Glasgow. You'd expected more of a fight for them, and as you said, you know, this is no rookie pairing they're up against. And, you know, we saw with Tan and Ku earlier, they're up against a couple of 19-year-olds and they couldn't work them out, and you can understand, but yeah, this is a pairing that have been together on and off since 2010.
Yeah. But simply can't get into the game. That's their problem, and if they haven't thought about it, if they haven't watched video of Carsten and Matthias where they see all these things, it's going to be very difficult for them.
Well, I'm sure they've seen them, but they've never played against them. It's a different thing, isn't it?
That's a different thing. This is.
I refer you to what my co-commentator said earlier.
Service over. 1-all.
That's better. As we saw here in the start of the rally, Carsten was pushing down to Matthias's forehand side. They were side by side, and this is where the two Singaporeans get really confused sometimes. They just think it's free to cross drive it, and they're standing a forehand all the time. So this is much better what they're doing now. They need to come up and challenge there, not put power on every shot, and find the gap between Carsten and Matthias, you know, between the front guy and the back guy. That's their opening. And then stay really focused on the service situation.
Well,
see, that's better.
Yeah, 4-1 the lead as well.
But you also saw there, Krishnata, he didn't hit hard on that smash. He more or less placed it down and waited for an opportunity to keep the net. In the first set, he was hitting hard on everything. And Carsten and Matthias are way too good for that. See, very front court orientated right now, the Singapore pair. See, just blocking. And that's perfect. That's absolutely perfect. So they've had a good chat. Coaches come in with some things, and we can see that already here. They're placing into the front court.
And well, I suppose it means Carsten and Matthias have got to just get up another level now, haven't they?
Step up a gear. See again. That's really well played. And that's a very difficult shot, as you see here. Beautiful. So, where Carsten and Matthias normally would have power and pace to get their racket up and use the pace from the opponents, now they have to create something.
Well, that's a real pity from a Singapore perspective, wasn't it? On a really good run, and then just now serving into the net.
Just they're really focused now. Once again. But I must say, they played really perfectly right now. That shot he's playing there, it has to be perfect, or that Matthias will kill that. So really nice to see they're trying. It's just a mistake you can't make if you want to beat the top double pairs today.
Yeah, but at least they're playing more like I expected now.
Yeah, way better. But still, it's Carsten Matthias who gets the easy points. They get the quick points. They have to stop it now. They have to really, really focus. That's better. It's almost like every time they've made it, they've not given an easy point away, but a quick point. Take it easy. Do whatever you can to get out of the service situation and then take it from there. That's better than just giving 2-3 points away like that. So even if they should lose the long rally, it still doesn't feel like, oh, they're already in the game again.
Service fault called against Danny Krishnanta.
6-8.
Yeah. I've seen worse this tournament. I've seen way worse in this tournament. That's better.
Service over. 9-6.
And of course, this is not good for Carsten and Matthias. They need to recharge up in their head and say, we have to be ready for a challenge here. That's a good shot. That's amazing. That's a good rally. Really, really good rally.
Yeah, really important point as well for the Danes there.
And what we can see already here is that it's the fourth or fifth time that Carsten and Matthias had said no to changing the shuttle. And there's a reason for that. They would like to have slower shuttles because it suits their game quite well. It makes their defense much better. One of their problems has been their defense, especially on Matthias's side. He has a weakness in that. So the slower shuttles they are, the better it is for them. And we've practiced with these shuttles, and if you play 1 or 2 rallies with them, they're actually quite fast in the start, but then they really start to spread out, and therefore you'll see they won't change that many shuttles.
As you say, in that they won the point, the shuttle went on the other side. Mogensen was so quick to get it before their opponents could say, let's change the shuttle.
Yeah.
You're not having a look at that one. They're on a nice little run here.
Well played.
Service over.
Well, that's part of the tactic in badminton, you know.
And immediately the shuttle goes on the other side of the
court.
And they're changing it.
I don't think you'll see many times when they win their points, they change the shuttle. Trust me. What's a close game here? Oh, great return.
It is a close game, but it was 9-6 to the Singaporeans at one stage in this second game. Now it's the Danes in front at the interval. 11 points to 10, having taken the opening game, 21 points to 8.
Court 1, 20 seconds. Court 1, 20 seconds.
Well, they've found some resistance come their way from this Singaporean pair, Bo and Mogensen, but have they come through the worst of it now? We shall see.
And they have to stay really focused now. The Singapore pair cannot afford to give a lead away. They cannot afford to fall too much behind here.
Excellent.
That's the tactical movement again in the service situation. We see how they move. Carsten moves forward there. So he actually is moving from the front court and back, which is something that the Singapore pair haven't found out yet. So they think it's sort of open down there, but it's not. And then this time he stays forward. So you can see that's why it's so difficult to play against.
1-7 of the last 8 points now. I was actually thinking how well he's serving, but there you go.
But you can see that the contrast to the game we saw earlier with the Malaysians against the Chinese, and then this game, this is way more with, you know, much shorter rallies, where we had really, really good rallies and long rallies in the other game, and just gotta accept that there are some pairs out there who are really, really good in the service situation. So they know really how to cover the court well. Well played, Carsten. Comes forward there. Look how he turns his racket at last end there. Right there, he turns it kind of direction to the body of his opponent. Very difficult to defend.
Take on Michael Fuchs and Johannes Schüttler in the next round, having the Germans knocked out the number 16 seeds, Manipin Jongjit and Nitapong Puang Puek. And
that's a good draw.
I know the German opposition pretty well.
I think the Germans suits Carsten and Matthias quite well. So I think they would have preferred to play them, so I think they're quite happy.
Albeit they've still got a few points to just knock off here, but yeah, assuming.
Yeah, and I think they lost to this Thailand pair in the US Open final as well, so.
There's been a few shocks today. Of course, the #1 seeds in the women's double going out. We saw Tommy Sugiyato yesterday look superb. Tight opening game he's got against Vladimir Malkov right now.
Service over, 14-17.
Getting closer.
18-14.
Simply can't get out. And this is where I wish, first of all, they would flick some more. Second of all, that there was a chance to get out of this. We need to get away from these quick points.
Well, doesn't get much quicker than that.
No. And you can say they have a tough time getting out of that service situation. So if they could start with a long serve, that would probably suit them quite well. Oh, it's well in.
16-19.
That's a good read.
It is. And it means match points for the Danish pair here. Mathias Bo and Carsten Mogensen with a very polished display. Only on court for a little more than half an hour. Crowd enjoyed it. There'll be tougher matches ahead in their quest for gold here on home soil. But no complaints as far as the way this one went.
Mathias Bo and Carsten Mogensen, 21-8, 21-16.
Yeah, it really was typical that the match should end with a quick point like that. A number of the points they won ended that way. And, well, job done. 21-8, 21-16, the scoreline in this match.
So to our next matches, and we turn our attention once again to singles. And we're starting with the world #1 and #1 seed Lee Chong Wei of Malaysia up against the giant of a man, the German Dieter Domke. And then we'll have women's singles and the European champion, the left-hander Carolina Marin from Spain up against Tijing Yi of Malaysia. After that, we will have the former world junior champion Victor Axelsen of Denmark up against Erik Meijs of the Netherlands. Here comes Lee Chong Wei. I'm Jill Clark, and alongside me as always is former world #1 Morten Frost. And of course, for both these players, they've had a day's rest because they played their first round matches on Monday. Draw of 64 really sort of lends itself, or you can't play one round of all 5 disciplines on the